signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Thank you very much. Jailer's report.
Morning, Judge. I don't have a lot this morning. Go over numbers. As of this morning, we had 78 Barron County inmates, 12 from Metcalf, 38 from Monroe, and state is at 131. That's pretty much our daily average at this point. It's a common number for us. We did have a committee meeting yesterday, somewhat of a committee meeting. Just briefed them up on daily operations, where our garden's at, body scanning, just daily meeting. Anything to add, Charles?
I have nothing to add, except that we didn't have a quorum. It was
Right.
one reason that we didn't conduct a formal meeting, and we'll be scheduling another one pretty soon. And things sound good up there. Keep up the good work. That's it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jailer Bellamy? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tracy, have you done a count on what it cost us to house prisoners lately?
As of lately, we haven't done a exact number on it, which it'll move up and down with our numbers. So the more inmates we have, it'll fluctuate. But I can get you up to date.
Jailer, I understand. I see where we made a $50,000 transfer out of the general fund back to the jail fund this time. What is that for?
I'm not certain that Jailer Bellamy is aware. We'll be coming to it later in the meeting.
Oh, okay.
We get into the financials.
Okay.
We better reflect.
I stopped by and looked at the garden the other day, and I didn't check in or anything, and the chickens. And I just want to say I'm very proud of our jail and our jailer and the staff and all the good things that they're doing up there. I was supposed to be a part of that meeting yesterday, and I wasn't there, and I apologize for that. And we'll try to be at the next one. I got caught up in something and couldn't get away, but doesn't mean I don't support everything that's going on up there. From a fiscal aspect, I don't think I've ever been any prouder of any department. So just keep up the good work.
Myself and the staff appreciate that. They appreciate all the support and encourage all of y'all to come and be a part of it and check out what we're doing.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Okay, administrative committee met. Master Benningfield.
Last fiscal court meeting, Mr. Kearney Charles came up here and spoke about Barron County taking over the Barron County Sports League, and that how he was in favor of that. So the administrative committee met to see what the feasibility of that would be, and based on that meeting, we determined that it was feasible. It would be in the best interest of the county, and it is the recommendation of the administrative committee that we do take over the Barron County Sports League.
Okay, so
And Trent Riddle will be the chairman of that committee.
okay, you want that in the form of a motion there, Master Benningfield?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Got a second by Master Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Discussion and questions.
We're going to, there's a little bit, and it's just a wording thing. And Charles and I have talked about this. The sports, the department is going to take over this. Come on up, Charles. Come on, we're always good. It's always good to see you, Charles.
And we've got a big agenda, so.
And you asked for it.
The county's going to take over the sports league, the way I understand it, according to the conversation that you and I had. We're going to take full control of the sports league. Now, the committee that we're establishing as a governing body here will be no different than the transportation committee, the jail committee, the administrative committee. It'll be made up of 3 magistrates, and these 3 magistrates will address the fiscal aspects of that committee and the problems and the concerns and the wants and the needs, just like we do every other committee. Now, somewhere inside of your department, you're still going to have a sports league board and people to help organize and ever how you're going to do that. But after you and I talk, just for everybody's information, we're not going the magistrates or the committee. We're not going to be involved in the daily operations of how the game is played.
That's correct.
Okay.
Charles, I've had a couple of calls about this, and the questions were, y'all going to have a 3-member committee that under Trent's? Is there going to be a 3-member board under Trent's committee at the sports league?
Originally, we were just going to have a board with Magistrate Riddle chairing that. With my conversation with Magistrate Riddle, he feels like it's best that we do a committee within fiscal court, and then have a board underneath that if that's desired by
That's fine with
the
me.
league or whatever. But, you know,
Well, the question that was posed to me is who's going to serve on the board, and I told them I didn't know what they were talking about. So, is a decision been made who's going to be on the board, or has the decision been made is the board even been formed yet, or have y'all got to do all that yet?
We've had some names turned in, but it would be my preference that it would be, we would be using basically Red Cross as a part of this too, North Jackson and Eastern. It would be my preference to get one person from each of those places.
Okay, but no names. There's no
No
one.
names yet.
Okay, okay, and that was the question that was posed,
Right.
and I said, well, I would find out. So,
Right.
Okay. Thank
You got to understand that we're entering into new waters here. So,
That's right.
We're going to look at some things that some of our neighboring counties are doing, and pick and choose from those, and try to do the best we can. It may be a little bumpy in the beginning, and with Charles running it, probably not.
It's always been, you know, for my time that I've been here and served as director, the fiscal court's always wanted more. What could we do to bring more in to that park and help out with what the general fund has to put into it? Well, we're going to do that, and we're going to see how it works, and I think you'll be satisfied with it. It's going to be a little bit of a return instead of us putting everything out. So,
okay, any more questions for Mr. Kearney? All right, thank you, Charles.
all right.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, Economic Development Committee met. Magistrate Dickerson.
Yes, we met to go over or to keep working on the interlocal agreement, and tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 we're going to be meeting with the Finance Committee of the City of Glasgow to try to iron all this out and have a agreement or an interlocal agreement that will satisfy everyone, if that can be done, and I'm sure it can. We're doing this to try to get a spirit of cooperation in the whole county. City of Glasgow, Barron County, Park City, and Cave City, the incorporated, as well as the outlying parts of the county that need to be represented in economic development. So this new agreement, even though it may not change a whole lot, is going to be inclusive of everyone in Barron County. So that's the goal that I think everyone has, and that's what we are trying to do. So we're meeting tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 with the Finance Committee of the City of Glasgow.
In City Hall. So that
City Hall.
That will suffice our announcement for media purposes. Okay, thank you very much. Transportation Committee met this morning.
Yeah, the Transportation Committee met and opened the bids on a truck from the road department that we had for sale. We had 3 bids. The high bid was Joe Renfro from Glasgow.
6131.
You need the amount?
Yes, we do, please.
$61.31, $6,100, $6,131.
Is that your recommendation to accept?
That is our recommendation, that we accept this bid.
Okay, we have a motion for recommendation 6131 by Joe Renfro. Would you have a second?
Second.
Second, Master Houchins. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay. Jeremy, would you give us a kind of an update on this, on our flex and asphalt?
In the 22nd of last month, I'd had Susan contact Louise, send them a. Actually, she'd talked to the guy that was over giving us our bids on our blacktop. I haven't heard back from him. We emailed him the information. I haven't heard back. I tried to contact him yesterday, left him voicemail. Still haven't heard nothing back. So I'll just all I can do is try him again. I mean, but I've got no kind of he's not giving me an answer on our flex, so I'm not sure. So
And we'll have to talk to him in order to get this prices for.
Yes, we have to.
Okay.
He'll give us a price quote that we have to turn into the state, and then they'll accept it on the roads that we done or not. So, but I've still not received nothing from him.
So if you don't hear back from him, what do you use, Scotty's price?
We can
My
legally
opinion,
do
I
it.
guess that's left up with you all. If y'all want me to go and have Scotty's to do it, then I guess that's the vote to the court whether we turn it over to you all and let me call them. But as of right now, I've not heard nothing.
How much contact have you had? Has he not contacted you since they were awarded the bid?
No,
You haven't talked to him?
no, I haven't talked to him. Susan talked to him the 22nd. I'd had her to contact him and see what we needed to do about. Actually, we had to call Louise Construction. She had to call Louise because we didn't have no number to him.
Yeah.
They give us the number to him, and he said just email me your list. We did. That was the 22nd of last month. I called him again yesterday to see if he'd had any kind of update on it or anything. Left him a message to call me back. He hasn't returned my call. So as of right now, I don't know anything.
You know, it's just good business. If you hadn't heard him a supplier in 30 days, it's probably best to change suppliers.
That's totally
Personal
left up with the
opinion.
court. I mean, you tell me. If that's what you tell me to do, I'll go do whatever needs to be
If he's
done.
$11 a ton cheaper, it doesn't do any good if he doesn't deliver it. I don't care if he's $100 a ton cheaper.
Well, I'm not just. I haven't heard nothing from him.
Okay.
I mean, I've had no kind of contact from him. And like I said, I called him yesterday. Still, I was going to call him again today to see if I had any.
And we need to get this turned in so we can possibly start
What's our
working.
deadline for turning in?
We really don't have a deadline, but it just throw us over again last year like it did this year. We won't get no blacktop because it'll be cold weather on us.
Do we know the roads that we're going to blacktop?
Yeah, we've turned it.
Yes,
We've
the
got it.
list has been turned in. That's what we turned into him.
Folks, if you have somebody gets a bid and they will not perform, the best thing to do is just change suppliers. And so I make a motion, we accept Scotty's bid, and if we're allowed to do that, it doesn't give us any liability. If he hadn't contacted you in 30 days, my goodness, what if you needed something done in a week? You're not going to get it done.
I haven't spoken with him. And like I said, I'd called yesterday, left a message, and he has called back.
We have any liability, Mr. County Attorney, if we change our bid now?
We accepted both bids the last time,
Okay,
and I believe it was put in there, if one didn't work out, we can go with the other.
okay.
So I don't think we need to do anything.
So-
I think we can use the bid we want to use.
That's just, you just let me know if that's what we do. I mean, I don't know the liability
So
behind it.
cheap,
Right.
we've never used them before,
Yeah.
so we put in there that if they don't perform, we can go back to the second
Yeah.
bid, which was Scotty's. I remember that.
So you just want to put Scotty's bid in on the flex package?
I don't know that we need to do anything, do we?
Yeah, they've got to know
I'm
something.
not, I mean, this
I
is
mean,
a
yeah,
question
put
for
Scotty's
Jeff,
name on the flex
if we
package,
can
if
go
that's
ahead
what you wanna
and,
do.
is it legal to go ahead and
He says it's fine.
just send it to Scotty's and have him to give us to turn his quote in.
So you'll make contact with.
I'll make contact
Okay.
with Scotty's.
Yeah, we need to get that in, so we can have some paving in this fall, that's for sure.
See if it'll come down a couple dollars a ton.
Who do we?
I think we might be able to stretch him.
They might go up on us.
Yeah, he may go up, that's right.
Might go up on us. Okay, about where are we at with the right-of-way mowing? Just-
They're actually in District 5 right now. They just started back up. They actually took one day to stop, service the tractors, clean the tractors back up, which that was on Monday. They started back on Tuesday. They're actually in District 5, heading into District 6. I think we actually got 2 tractors going into District 6 today, I think.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Chairman.
You're welcome. Thank y'all.
All right, departmental reports, Corner, Mr. Tim Gibson.
Thank you, Judge, Magistrates. The coroner's office, we're here today for a need, and unfortunately, it's an unbudgeted need. We need a vehicle and equipment to transport our deceased at various times that may have to go to the hospital for x-rays or have to go to Louisville for autopsies. For many, many years, we have depended on the ambulance service to provide this for us. All the way back to the mid-'80s when Larry Marion was elected coroner, which he was an employee of the ambulance service, and then subsequently Mike Swift. Well, those days are past. I'm no longer affiliated with the ambulance service and doesn't have readily access to vehicles. And of late, we've been having difficulty at times, the ambulance service getting employees to come in to make transports if they have a vehicle that is available to even use. And we don't have any way to transport these individuals, and we really need to find a dependable means to do that. And I would like to recommend, if we could, to purchase a van. I've looked at a Dodge Caravan with a dealer in Lexington with the state price contract. I called the guy yesterday afternoon, and the one he priced me 3 weeks ago is gone. It's done been sold. He has another one on the lot, which is just a little more expensive, but it's at $23,703. The equipment that will be needed, you're looking at a stretcher, a tray, odds and ends equipments to do the job is right around a little over $5,500. The van will need warning lights. I don't want to be caught out on I-65 or the Parkway with no warning lights on a vehicle trying to take care of an auto accident. Lettering, need some lettering on it. And I'd just like to come before you guys now, if we possibly could, to let me see about getting a vehicle that we can use, that we don't have to depend on anyone else to make our transports for us. I hear a lot of people talking about the ambulance service and the coroner's office. They are two entirely separate entities, but they've been intertwined for so many years, from back in the mid-'80s up until this past September, when Mr. Swift retired and the judge appointed me coroner. This is the coroner's office is my job. This is what I do, and we're having to play some catch up with some things for the office. We do have an office now. The coroner has never had an office in Barron County. It's always went to the home of whomever the coroner was, and it's too big now. We can't do that. But the judge was gracious enough. We've got an office. We've got a place that we can come to. Store records for right now, and the coroner's records have to be kept for 50 years. They're private for 50 years. The privacy things that you do at the doctor's office falls even under the deceased for 50 years. So we have to keep these records. And I have had calls and requests back to the early 80s wanting to see records. We had those, thank goodness. But anyway, and I know this is
a big lick, and I apologize that it did not get into our budget. For several months, the judge and I, we've been looking at another alternative we thought was going to come to fruition with the donation of a local business person of a vehicle. That's not going to come to pass. We'd really hoped that it would. Unfortunately, it did not. So, I'm before you now asking for a vehicle and the equipment so that the coroner's office can take care of our deceased.
How many bodies or how many individuals you transport a year, Tim?
Obviously, it's hard to say. We are at 82 calls for service. I was out about 3 o'clock this morning. We are probably going to transport autopsies to date. We're probably looking at 12 to 15%.
I didn't say that. I said how many? Numbers.
Numbers, we would, of those 82 calls, we will probably have, I would have to look to be sure to see what the ambulance did transport for us. Half of those.
40?
Yes, sir.
In 7 months?
Yes, sir.
So, has the ambulance service ever refused to transport an individual for you? Refused?
They have never refused. There's instances that they didn't have the equipment. It was in the shop. It was busy. They were running the roads with them. There just a couple of Saturdays ago, they couldn't find any employees to come in to make the transport.
So how long did you have to wait?
We had to wait several hours.
Hours
Until I could meet with one of the local funeral homes and borrow their van. And
what was the ambulance service wait time at that time? Do you know? I mean, how long did they tell you they'd be before they could transport?
They didn't.
They didn't?
No, sir. And, unfortunately, some instances that go for autopsies can't wait.
Okay.
They need to be transported now.
I know people on this court may not be aware, but I think we're getting delivery on 2 new ambulances at the ambulance service next month. The ones out of service, would they serve as your transport mechanism going out of service?
Possibly.
Okay.
But from experience of working there for many, many years, they're pretty well ragged out when they get rid of them.
Okay, but we're running them to haul. They're being used today at the ambulance service. Those 2 that they're going to retire. Is that correct?
To my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're being used online ambulances as of today.
To my understanding.
Okay. Okay.
So you need a motion, Tim?
Well,
if you all want to pursue.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to see what everybody else thinks. I think just like anything we put our name on out there ought to be good, I know we can't afford luxuries, but this is definitely a need. We do have to take human bodies to Louisville for autopsies. And I can think of nothing more embarrassing or to be stopped out on the interstate because your automobile's not running right with a body in the back. So I make a motion to buy the vehicle for Tim or the coroner's office.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Any more discussion on this?
What's the total price?
The van state price was $23,703. The equipment is $5,500. You're looking at warning lights, lettering, $1,000 tops for that.
That's not included in the 5,500.
No, sir. No, sir. That's the equipment is your stretcher. There's a tray that fits in the back of the van that the stretcher secures in. And this is I know it's a big purchase. This van should last 15 years, hopefully.
Are you gonna drive it back and forth to work, or?
I plan on driving the van. I do. The coroner does not have a vehicle to drive,
Okay.
and I make the overwhelming majority of the calls. And if it's needed by one of the deputies, they'll have it.
Is this motion to buy this vehicle or a motion to buy a vehicle? Can we shop this vehicle local? Is that?
That's the discretion of the court.
My motion was just to buy this vehicle that
This
you're
per-
talking about. If
This
somebody-
vehicle he's talking about.
If
Okay.
somebody wants to amend that motion, I guess they can.
That's under state price contract, but motion can be amended at any time.
Can we amend it to shop this vehicle local, to put it out for bids? With, is that time frame going to kill you? We bought some trucks last week, or last month, but the time frame was important. So we really didn't have time to bid it out local, but is that going to be, is that 30-day thing, or how long does it take?
Yes.
The bid he gave you may change any time, right? If he,
Oh, yes, sir.
And the last time it went up.
Yeah, the van that they quoted me about 3 weeks ago has been sold. I talked to the dealership yesterday afternoon. And this is the one that they have in stock on the lot, ready to go.
Now, the one they quoted you 3 weeks ago, is there a difference in the vans? Is that why this one's more, or?
It's probably some of the features
Okay.
in the
So if he
van.
were to find the same one he quoted you 3 weeks ago, we probably would have got that same price.
I'm assuming, yes, sir.
Master Bennyfield, would you consider taking this under your committee for review, since it has to do with finance? Is that something you would take on?
Sure.
Okay. Would the possibility of you rescinding your motion, Magistrate Allen, if we put this under administrative committee? It seems like there's just some unanswered questions I feel like the court has. And maybe Coroner Gibson can get us a little more information for you, just for the sake of being more transparent.
That suits me.
Okay.
Cam, does it put you in a bad situation? You don't know, do you?
Well, I don't know. We'll just,
But anyway, yeah.
Okay, Master Gillum, you're okay with rescinding your second?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I want to put this under the administrative committee, chaired by Master Benningfield. And please report back in the August meeting, for some type of recommendation.
I can do it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you. All right, Sheriff.
Good morning, Court, Judge. My business here is to ask for a PO for the internal equipment that's going into our new police vehicle that we got through last year's budget. Much of that equipment is standard consoles, light boxes, dividers, rifle racks, warning lights. So I'm here to ask for that PO.
Make that motion.
Master Riddle,
I'll second.
Master London, any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Okay, entertain a motion for the quarterly financial report ending June 30th, 2017, subject to audit.
So moved. Second.
Allen, second by Master Couchins, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Okay, emergency management, this is one of our additions at the end. Shirley?
Morning, Court. It's been our emergency operations plan reviewed every year. After the state reviewed our plan, they found some changes we need to make, minor changes. Most of it's clerical as much as anything. One of the changes is, for instance, the Civil Air Patrol we had under a state resource are actually a federal. They're under the Air Force. We just had to remove them from state resource and put them under federal. Another change, at one time, our local Red Cross was known as Barry Metcalf American Red Cross. It's now just the American Red Cross. That needs to be changed in the and that. Also, the EF6 coordinator used to be the Red Cross director. It's now the disaster programs manager. Also, a change was added the address to the alternate EOC. It stated it was the basement of the city hall, which is our alternate EOC. We just had to add the address of 126 South or East Public Square. And with the Red Cross, at one time we had on the emergency operations plan, the old plan states that the Salvation Army will provide housing, and actually the Red Cross is the one that provides sheltering. Salvation Army provides feeding for our people. It's just minor clerical errors and stuff. I just need y'all's permission as a governing body so we can make these changes and move it on up through the state.
I entertain a motion for these changes.
So moved.
Master Galvin.
Second.
Second, Master Houches. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank y'all. Good day.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving into old business, ordinance 595 relating to the Code Amendment 65, the rehire and retire elected officials. I will open up this for a public meeting.
Is this retroactive?
No.
No.
Any public comment, questions? Okay, I'll close the public meeting. Your question, Master Gallen, it is not. I want to ask the court to table this, and here's why. I have talked to our CAECO lawyer. I've talked to the Attorney General's office. I want to make sure that what we're doing here is legal to do. Okay? I'm not saying it's a bad thing that what we're doing, but for future potential litigation, and I believe I'm tasked with protecting the county against lawsuits and things like that, I should have an answer by next court meeting to go ahead and hopefully get this passed. But I just want to make sure that what we're doing is correct. You know, the county attorney was gracious enough to draw it up. I think, what was it, you said we will go with it, but I'm not sure if we actually do it.
I actually floated the idea. We got a county attorney forum, and I floated the idea on there what they thought. And I had several tell me they didn't think it was legal, but none of them could quote me any, authority, to say that. It's their opinion it was illegal. They couldn't quote any authority on that. But it's just kind of, the problem is with it is you're telling a elected official who he can and can't hire. So you're like limiting what a public official can do, elected public official. That's where the problem might lie.
And basically, we don't really have jurisdiction over who.
Possibly. That's what the legal question is, I guess.
So,
Jeff, could I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Has this ever happened before anywhere else in the state of Kentucky?
I keep finding where it's happened.
I didn't think so.
That's the only thing.
So this is the first.
It would be real limited in applicability. I guess it's good to get a legal opinion on it some way from Attorney General or something, but if it did pass, I mean, how often does this come up? I know it recently came up, but it probably won't come up again for 20 more years, so.
That's true.
You may not have a challenge in forever because it might not be applicable.
But I find it real interesting that we're leading the way. First time it's ever happened in the state of Kentucky. And we're leading the way, Bryan County.
First time that somebody has retired from, and went back to work, that happens every day.
An elected official had
happens every
retired
day.
and be hired back at the same job, Squire Riddle. Same job. $38,000 kicker.
Still
That's
cheaper,
okay.
Still cheaper for the county.
No, it's the same thing.
No.
Yeah, they pay
Cost
retirement on
county
him
money.
just like he was an employee. Do they not, Treasurer? Pay retirement on,
We have to pay him for your portion.
that's what I thought, yeah, same thing, same thing. Okay.
Well, I'll get this opinion to make sure that what we're doing is we can legally do. Just for the sake of, hey, we need to protect our county from potential litigation for discrimination or anything like that, so.
You know, it reads rehire of retired elected officials. What if you wanted a part-time worker to work for Joanne during tax season or something? We couldn't do that. We want to make sure we specify whether it's full-time or part-time, because I could see where a lot of part-time people are needed. I fear that this might go further and just not hire anybody or let anybody run for office.
That would be the same thing.
That's retired, though. We've got, that's not our time. Yeah.
And I'm in no way, I want to make this clear, I'm in no way saying, and Master Dickerson, I know this is something you push for,
Yes, sir.
that you were wrong about this, because, you know, I see where you're coming from. I really do.
And Judge Hale, I guess the thing that really bothers me the most about it is not necessarily the idea that there was no one qualified besides the man that was hired to do the job. When we had the top three members of the jail left and went to a committee or went to a convention, who'd they leave in charge? Nobody was qualified, but they left somebody in charge when they went to the convention. I know Jailer Mutter and Deputy Jailer Mutter and Mr. Bellamy went to the convention. Who's in charge? Nobody's qualified.
All right, I entertain a motion to table this until. Hold on, let's get a motion to table before we.
I make a motion with table it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, go ahead. Motion.
Carl, you have opposed this a lot. I understand. That's fine. I don't have people beating down the door to come to work in a jail. I had 4 deputies last week that got covered up in feces. You know, we're doing the best that we can to save the county money. You tried to make this out that this was a plotted deal. No, when I offered Matt a job, he was past the point that he could have come back, and he had other job offers. You know, if you'd come up and talk to me about it or call and inquire about it, but you just lay it out there on the table that we did something underhanded and illegal.
I have not said one time it was illegal. I said you have a perfectly legitimate right to hire whoever you wanted to choose whoever you want to. I don't think it's an ethical thing to do. I didn't say it's illegal. At the first time we talked about it, I said you did nothing illegal. Look back at the tape. That's what I said.
Well, every decision I make is in best interest of the jail. We're saving money. We're working hard. If that's wrong, it is what it is.
Any more comment or questions? Okay. We have a motion and a second to table. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay, we're going to table it until next month. Okay, thank you very much. Ordinance 596 relating speed limit on Flowers Road. I'll open this up for public hearing for comment and questions. We'll close the public hearing and adopt on second reading. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Master Allen,
Second.
second Master Benningfield. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, moving into new business, we have here lines here to address the court on bond refinancing resolution. Hello there, sir.
Hello, Judge. Morning, Court. colleague Sam Dickinson's here with me, and what we have before you is a refinancing opportunity for an old AOC project that the county participated in. You all had some of your own project money in it as well. It's a 2007 bond issue, and the interest rate on that old thing's about 3.8%. And if we refinance it today, it'd be around 240. The savings to it, now most of this is paid for by the Commonwealth of Kentucky through the Administrative Office of the Courts. And so what the state says is if you, the body, will allow the refinancing to occur, they get the benefit of the refinancing, but they'll give you 10% of what they save. So this is a resolution that if you all authorize it, it lets us sell bonds on your all's behalf. And right now we estimate going from 380 to 240, it's about $150,000 to the state's benefit. And so the 10% check to the county at closing is about $15,000. So that's what's before you, and happy to answer any questions you all have.
We'll cut you a check for this.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I wanted to make sure they understood
Yeah.
that and heard
Yes.
that part of it, that we'd be actually getting money back. So
Does it have any limitations on how we spend it, or?
No, this is a check from the Commonwealth. The closing's at the end of August, so you would get the state would receive a check at the end of August to use how you wish. I do want to point out one more thing about it. Your portion of the deal, there's a little bit outstanding, maybe $75,000 or so, and what the idea that the judge had was to go ahead and pay that down and be done with your all's part of it, which makes a lot of sense. And so we've talked to the AOC on your all's behalf, and they're perfectly fine with that. So it's a prudent thing to do, and commend you for it. But that's one other thing I wanted to point out.
But you do have discretion on how you spend it.
Yes, sir.
I will entertain a motion to do this.
Second.
We entertain one.
I'll make that motion.
Master London, have a second. Master Allen, any questions or discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Thank you all. And one thing I want to point out, we recently had talked to Moody's rating agency. You know, they surveil your all's credit rating about every year, and about once every 4 years they'll talk to you, even if you're not doing a bond issue, because you have debt outstanding. And they've taken notice of your all's rebuilding of the fund balance, the general fund balance, and they see that as a very positive thing for the county, and they like the trajectory that the county's on. So I wanted to point that out to you all and let you know that the rating agencies took notice of the hard work you all done. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to you. Appreciate it. All right. We're going to approve payments of claims as presented.
So moved.
Master Allen,
Second.
second by Master Houchins. Any questions, discussion? Okay, a little report here. Today is the day we pay off the old jail. So, however you want to celebrate that, please celebrate that.
You gonna put a for sale sign up there?
That's the discretion of the court.
So is that where we're supposed to talk about the $50,000, or was that on that?
That is, well, we only were due to pay $1,800 in interest August 1st, when the opportunity opened up for us to pay off the entire amount owing of $78,600. That wasn't budgeted at this time, it was budgeted in this fiscal year. And that is why the general fund is giving only $50,000 to the jail, not the entire amount at this time. The jail will build back up and possibly be able to give it back to us for this fiscal year, but still, that is why the jail budget was only structured to pay $1,800 versus $78,000.
Can you all hear her okay?
Barely.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
The jail budget was structured to pay $1,800 due on August 1st. The opportunity opened up for us to be able to pay the entire amount left owing of
How did that
$78,600. Pardon? Can you explain the bond wording, please, Mr. Sutherland. In that 10 years it passed since we last refinanced.
Right. There's with when bond financing, there's a 10-year call period, and you can't redeem those bonds without having to pay people what you owe them. Right. And so that we've hit the part of the schedule now with those bonds where you can pay them. I'm sorry I'm making that.
It's okay. I want people to hear you.
I got echo. So what is occurring is we're going to do this refinancing, and we happen to be in a period where these bonds are callable at no penalty. And so instead of waiting until the interest payments due, you're just electing to go ahead and make the payments now. You're going to make the payment anyway in this fiscal year. So just the thought was, well, heck, let's just get out of it and pay them early. And am I explaining it the way that you're asking, Denny?
Yes.
Is it okay for you?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Paying it off early, you're not continuing to accrue interest on that balance.
Yeah.
There's no reason to accrue interest on it.
Good deal.
Oh, yeah, I think so. You guys doing a good job.
So to repeat, we have paid off the old jail.
Yeah, go down to Dave Ramsey, Nashville, and say you're debt free with that one.
That's right.
It's unusual. It's unusual to pay bonds off early. Most entities just refinance, and so it's a good measure that you're actually writing a check and paying off a bond issue. It doesn't happen very often in Kentucky.
Feels pretty good.
It's commendable.
Okay. Also, to report as well. Those of you that know that last year we had to borrow money from the road fund for July. We are not going to have to do that this year. And our goal is to continue stepping that back to August, September, and October, and hopefully get to the point where we don't have to borrow from our road fund. As I've said last month, I foresee a time where the state of Kentucky is going to say, stop borrowing from your road fund. And anyway, that's our goal, and our goal is to continue paying debt down. But this is, that old jail was something that back on January 6, 2015, that's something that I wanted to accomplish, and we've done that. We have done that. So I appreciate that. Appreciate the hard work of the employees of the county for helping and assisting in this. Okay, is there any questions? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approve, yeah, it's next. Approve transfer of funds. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Master Gillen,
Second.
Master Allen. Any questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. That makes it official. Approve budget adjustment.
So moved.
Master Houchins.
Second.
Master Gillen. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Approved monthly financial statement, June 2017, subject to audit.
So moved.
Master Houchins.
Second.
Second, Master Gillen. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approved official settlement, June 2017, subject to audit, the county attorney, county clerk, and the sheriff.
Make that motion.
Master Gillen.
Second.
Second, Master Riddle. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Personnel actions.
Make that motion.
Master Couchins.
Second.
Second, Master Gillen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approved quarterly financial statement ending June 30th, 2017, subject to audit.
So moved.
Master Allen.
Second.
May I state something?
And second, Master Houghton. Yes, ma'am.
The amount left in our ending balance in the general fund exceeds the amount required in our new year budget. In other words, there's no shortfall this year.
Did y'all hear that? All right.
I did.
Pull up to the mic there so they can hear that.
There, okay. The amount we have as an ending balance in our general fund exceeds the amount we budgeted for the current operating year. Therefore, we don't have any shortfall. We have a surplus to meet this year's budget.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Acknowledge report of receipt of library report, May 2017, subject to audit.
So moved. Second.
Master Houchin, second by Master Allen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Ordinance 597 related to the Budget Amendment 1. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Master Allen.
Second.
Second, Master Gillen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Declare an emergency due to need for immediate payment and adopt on second reading.
So move.
Master Riddle.
Second.
Master Houchins. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Amend annual standing order, include sheriff communication equipment lease payment.
Make that motion.
Master Gillen.
Second.
Second, Master London. Any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approve order of allowance to the Board of Assessment Appeals. It's something we do every year.
So move.
Master Riddle.
Second.
Second, Master Houchins. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Sure, I don't have that appointment. Yeah. Okay. On the Industrial Development Economic Authority Board, I would like to reappoint Amy Irwin to a 4-year term.
So moved.
Master Couchins.
Second.
Second by Master Gillen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Adopt resolution, the Barren River Regional Hazardous Mitigation Plan update. You should have a copy of that in your packet. I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Master Gillen.
Second.
I'm sorry. Master Riddle, second by Master Benefield. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approve renewal of maintenance agreement with the courthouse for HVAC.
So moved. Second.
Master Allen, second by Master Houchins. Any discussion on this?
Is this the same price we've been paying for the agreement, for the maintenance agreement? Or is it an increase, or?
It's the same thing it was last year.
I'm thinking that went up some, Master Gillen.
Same thing.
Same as last year.
I don't think it went up last.
I'm thinking it went up just a little. It's $3,800 for the year, but I don't think it went up a tremendous amount. I'm thinking that last figure was 34, but I don't have that in front of me.
I thought it said on there that it was the same as it was last year.
Oh, is it? I was thinking it was just a little bit. Anyway, we have a motion and a second. We have any more questions on this? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, I'll have a motion for adjournment, and once again, stay right. Hold on. Charles, did you have something you wanted to add?
Oh, no.
Hold
Oh,
on.
other Charles. Oh, let's get my papers together.
Real quickly, I just wanted to inform the public and fiscal court about the accomplishments of the kids that have been playing at the park. This year, we've been well represented again in the state and region. The boys 8U coach pitch have won the state. They will not be attending their region. 8U softball placed state runner-up and third in the region. That's Angel League softball. The 14U division girls placed state runner-up, fourth in the region. They're not going to, they got a bid to go to World Series, but they're not. It's awful expensive. The 16U, for the third year in a row, has won the state, Kentucky State Softball Championship. Plus, for the second year in a row, have repeated as regional champs and are going back. They leave actually in the morning to go back to Jensen Beach, Florida, to represent Glasgow-Barron County in the World Series again. It's a true World Series this time. They have Italy, Australia, and Japan will be attending, and Dominican Republic. So wish these girls luck. We've been represented well, and that's what we have to look forward to, and that's the accomplishments of our kids in these counties, and I'm super proud of them, and I hope you are too.
Thank you, Charles. We do have some talented athletes in this county, that's for sure. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Master Allen, second Master Gillen. Consider yourself adjourned. Stay right where you're at. Okay, I will call to order the Barron County Public Properties Corporation meeting. This is July the 18th. We do have a quorum, and we need to entertain a motion to adopt a resolution for bond financing. Y'all want to talk about the? Okay. Do you want a motion before we just go ahead? Okay, go ahead.
We're happy to answer any questions you have, but this will just put into effect that the refinancing that I referenced earlier, and this is the way the administrative office of the courts, because we get money from the Commonwealth of Kentucky to make payments. We use the Public Properties Corporation to actually issue the debt because those payments only come out of their budget. I can go into more detail if you want, but it's the way that the state pays you all to make these bond payments is why we're refinancing it through a Public Properties Corporation. I don't think I explained everything there, but if you want to know more, I'm happy to give you more detail. Right.
I will put it in the form of a motion to adopt this resolution for the bond refinance.
Second.
I have second Master Benningfield. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Options. Gillen. Thank you all very much. You want to hear?